Qatar is a small country located in the Middle East, and it is one of the wealthiest countries in the world. In this video, we will explore some of the reasons why the country has achieved such a high level of wealth and what controversies and issues it faces. Oil and gas reserves. Qatar has the third largest natural gas reserves in the world, and it is the world's largest exporter of liquefied natural gas. The country's oil and gas industry are a major contributor to its GDP and government revenue, accounting for more than 70% of its GDP and more than 60% of its government revenue. Qatar's oil and gas reserves are located primarily in the North Field, which is the largest non-associated natural gas field in the world. The field is located offshore and covers an area of approximately 6,000 square kilometers. Qatar has been able to leverage its vast natural gas reserves to become a major player in the global energy market. The country has developed a number of liquefied natural gas export facilities, and it has signed long-term contracts to supply liquefied natural gas to countries around the world. In addition to its oil and gas reserves, Qatar also has a number of other natural resources, including limestone, which is used in the construction industry, and gypsum, which is used in the production of plaster. These resources also contribute to the country's wealth. Overall, Qatar's oil and gas industry has played a major role in the country's economic success and has helped to make it one of the wealthiest countries in the world. Strategic location. Qatar's strategic location on the Persian Gulf has played a major role in the country's economic success. The country is a major transit point for goods traveling between Europe, Asia, and the Middle East, and its main port, Hamad Port, is a hub for trade. Hamad Port is located on the eastern coast of Qatar and is one of the busiest ports in the Middle East. It is home to one of the largest container terminals in the world, and it serves as a gateway for trade between Qatar and the rest of the world. In addition to its port, Qatar also has a number of other assets that have helped to boost its economic success. The country has a well-developed transportation infrastructure, including a modern airport and an extensive network of roads and highways. It also has a number of free trade zones, which have attracted a number of international businesses to the country. Diversification of the economy. Qatar has been successful in diversifying its economy and reducing its reliance on oil and gas. The country has developed a number of other sectors, including finance, tourism, and real estate, which have helped to diversify its economy and create new sources of wealth. One of the key drivers of Qatar's economic diversification has been the Qatar National Vision 2030, which is a long-term development plan that aims to transform the country into a knowledge-based economy. As part of this plan, Qatar has been working to develop its human capital and to invest in education and research. The finance sector is one of the key areas that Qatar has targeted for development. The country has a number of banks and financial institutions, and it has been working to create a favorable environment for financial services. Qatar has also been working to develop its insurance sector and to attract international insurance companies to the country. Tourism is another sector that has been identified as a key area for development in Qatar. The country has a number of attractions, including museums, cultural centers, and natural parks, and it has been working to promote these attractions to tourists. Qatar has also been working to improve its infrastructure, including building new hotels and improving transportation in order to make the country more attractive to tourists. Real estate is another sector that has been a key contributor to Qatar's economic diversification. The country has a number of large-scale real estate projects, including the Lusail City development, which is one of the largest real estate projects in the world. Whilst Qatar has made improvements in diversification, it is still worth mentioning that oil and gas makes up the biggest majority of its GDP. Hence, there is still a long way to go. Investments abroad. Qatar has made significant investments abroad, and these investments have helped to contribute to the country's wealth. Qatar has invested in a variety of assets, including real estate, stocks, and bonds, and these investments have helped to generate returns for the country. One of the key ways that Qatar has invested abroad is through its sovereign wealth fund, the Qatar Investment Authority. The Qatar Investment Authority is one of the largest sovereign wealth funds in the world, and it has invested in a variety of assets around the globe. Most famously, the Qatar Investment Authority has made a number of high-profile real estate investments, including the purchase of the Shard in London, one of the tallest buildings in Europe. Overall, Qatar's investments abroad have helped to generate returns for the country and have contributed to its wealth. The country's sovereign wealth fund has played a key role in these investments, and it has helped to diversify Qatar's portfolio and manage its wealth. Qatar has a strong education system, and this has contributed to the country's success. The country has a number of world-class universities, and it has invested heavily in education and research. This has helped to create a highly skilled workforce, which has been instrumental in the country's economic success. One of the key institutions in Qatar's education system is Qatar University, which is the country's oldest and largest university. Qatar University offers a range of undergraduate and graduate programs, and it has a number of research centers that focus on areas such as energy, environmental science, and public health. In addition to Qatar University, the country also has a number of other universities, including the Education City campus of Carnegie Mellon University, which is one of the top-ranked engineering schools in the world. Qatar has also made significant investments in research and development, and it has a number of research institutions that focus on areas such as energy, environment, and health. The Qatar Foundation, a non-profit organization, has played a key role in these efforts, and it has supported a number of research projects and initiatives. Economic and social issues. However, not everything is perfect. There are a number of criticisms that have been leveled at Qatar in relation to its economic success. One of the main criticisms is that the country's wealth is not distributed evenly throughout the population, and there are significant disparities between the rich and the poor. According to the World Bank, Qatar has one of the highest levels of income inequality in the world, and there is a large gap between the salaries of high-income earners and those of low-income earners, and those of low-income earners. This inequality has led to concerns about social mobility and access to opportunities in the country. Another issue that has been raised in relation to Qatar's economic success is the country's reliance on foreign labor. A large percentage of Qatar's population is made up of foreign workers, and there have been concerns about the treatment of these workers, including issues related to wages, working conditions, and labor rights. This issue was widely controversial during the recent Football World Cup that was held in Qatar in 2022. There have also been concerns about the environmental impact of Qatar's economic development. The country's reliance on fossil fuels has led to concerns about air pollution and carbon emissions, and there have been calls for the country to transition to more sustainable forms of energy. Geopolitical issues. Qatar is located in a volatile region, and the country has faced a number of geopolitical challenges over the years. One of the main issues that Qatar has faced is its relations with neighboring countries. In 2017, Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, Bahrain, and Egypt imposed a number of economic and diplomatic sanctions on Qatar, accusing the country of supporting terrorism and interfering in their internal affairs. These sanctions have had a significant impact on Qatar's economy, and relations between Qatar and these countries remain strained. Another issue that has impacted Qatar's foreign policy is its relationship with Iran. Qatar and Iran have had a complicated relationship, and there have been tensions between the two countries over issues such as the division of the oil and gas resources in the Persian Gulf. Despite these tensions, Qatar and Iran have also had some areas of cooperation, including in the energy sector. Qatar has also been impacted by conflicts in the Middle East, including the civil war in Syria and the conflict in Yemen. Qatar has supported opposition groups in Syria and has provided humanitarian aid to the country, and it has also played a role in the conflict in Yemen. These conflicts have had an impact on the country's security and have created challenges for Qatar's foreign policy. Finally, Qatar has also faced challenges related to the Israel-Palestine conflict. The country has traditionally been a supporter of the Palestinian cause, and this has led to tensions with Israel. Qatar has also faced criticism for its relations with Hamas, a Palestinian militant group. The country has played a role in mediating negotiations between Israel and Hamas, and it has provided humanitarian aid to the Gaza Strip. The future. It is difficult to predict the exact future of Qatar's economy, as it will depend on a number of factors, including global economic conditions, the performance of the oil and gas industry, and the success of the country's efforts to diversify its economy. One factor that may impact Qatar's economy in the future is the demand for oil and gas. Qatar is a major exporter of oil and gas, and the demand for these resources could affect the country's economic performance. Another factor that could impact Qatar's economy is the success of the country's efforts to diversify its economy. I mentioned Qatar has been working to develop other sectors such as finance, tourism, and real estate in order to reduce its reliance on oil and gas. If these efforts are successful, they could help to boost economic growth and create new sources of wealth. Overall, it is likely that Qatar's economy will continue to grow in the future, but it will face a number of challenges and will need to adapt to changing global economic conditions. The country will need to continue to diversify its economy and to find ways to create new sources of wealth in order to maintain its prosperity. That's it for this video. Thank you for watching, and don't forget to subscribe. Until next time, goodbye.